Hello everyone, this is Lolly and let's talk a bit about the Tavern. Roll the intro. Well guys, I did my usual round of scouring through the web archives of the internet to see if I can find any images related to the Tavern, specifically in its development phase when Arcane was still developing the game, but sadly I'm baffled by the fact that I could only find 4 images with like 1 or 2 days search. And the first image that I found in this searching session is this artwork. If you compare this with what we have in the final game, you can see that we have much more details here. This scene that we got captured on this image is much more lively. We have cutlery, tankards, more chairs, barrels, hanging chickens, and some garlic maybe hanging from the ceiling. Anyways, it's a concept art. The next image I have is probably from the press release that the press got, and notice that the kettle is missing where you could brew the potion for saving Lord in it. And take a look at Tizzy. It's this black hooded person who is standing there. It's beta stuff, definitely. Okay, this image is very interesting to me because this is the first image that features that we got a whole upper level or upper portion removed. You can see just barely to the right side that there's the original staircase that leads up to this part. Probably this part where my mouse is moving would be the place where you could gamble and lose all your money with the spin the wheel game, but then there's no upstairs part. And we got another image here, which also features the tavern's upper portion from a different angle. And please take a good look at the top right part here. The upper levels go well beyond the regular tavern section that you can go there. This part is going above the part where you can go down to the Ilsed bunker, and also you could peek through the staircase here. And also I have to mention that we have a different type of railing here and also above the second floor, and the same is featured here. Anyways, let me show you guys my little restoration project that I have started recently. It can be found here on GitHub under Arx map restored outpost and tavern, and of course I'm planning not to just touch the tavern but also to add the restoration thing from the outpost that I did last time, but with upgraded tools. So I have 2 changes here for you guys. I am applying some general changes to the level, and also I have some specific changes to the tavern itself. And for the time being, let me just comment this out so that we can compare the original level with the changes that we saw in the beta images. And let me pop right back into the game with all the changes removed. So if I fly over this location, that you can see that we already have the ceiling above us. We cannot see any further than this first floor. As you can see, if I go back to VS Code and the tavern image, you can see that mostly the location is the same. The structured beams are the same, but we have some different railing here. Let me go to the entrance to highlight the differences from another angle. The thing that I see that is radically different is that, first of all, the railing, and also that the ceiling is limiting our view. But take a look at this part above Tizzy, above the bar. It's not straight, it's a bit bended in multiple locations. And if you look at the beta images, this is a straight line, the bottom part of the stairs. It's completely straight, and also the stairs don't have any sides. But let me show you guys one more thing that I've spotted recently. I was just generally looking through the level mesh to see if I can spot anything outstanding, and this piece of wood caught my eyes. Let me just fly over here to see what's going on here. And lo and behold, if I go through here, this part is still very much like accessible, or something is, it's not cleaned up, it's not deleted. Let me try night vision for a second so that you guys can see more. You can see we have a familiar friend. This piece... Ó, bazd meg, ez kurva hangos. If you look at this mesh, then you could see something familiar from the previous changed location video that I made, and namely this piece of plank. We had the same going on with the outpost. Let me swing by the outpost to illustrate that same piece of wood there. And if I visit this part next to the turret of the outpost, then you can see that we have the same piece of board or floorboarding or something that was left here, either because it was part of the previous mesh or it was accidentally added when removing parts from the map and introducing new stuff. Anyways, let me just go back to the tavern. And to me, this part looks fairly similar to the railing that we have in the beta artworks. Let me just pop back to the VS Code to check the railing. And yeah, you can see that we have thick vertical bars or poles that support a thinner upper board. And then we have some planks hanged or nailed horizontally. Either this looks 90 degrees rotated, but this gives me vibes that this might have been something that you could walk up and access. And another thing that could possibly get connected with this is that the thing that I mentioned, that you can go to the right on the upper deck, and probably you could go all the way around and come round the back and just peek down to the main entrance. Anyways, let's get back to the game. And another weird thing that I've spotted is that, well, I guess I can just shut off the night vision now. We have this kettle here. Take a good look at it. It's metallic. It has these metal staples and or steel staples, and look at the color of the water here, or whatever liquid is brewing in here. Let's take a look at this odd looking lamp that nowhere else can be seen in the game, as far as I can tell. It's the same kettle, and also the same liquid is brewing up here. First, when I saw this, I thought that this was just a repurposed shoulder pad or shoulder piece of an armor, plate armor or something like that, but no, it's an altered version of half of that kettle down there. It's weird, especially that you cannot get the other half of it. If you take a look at it, this is called Lamp Goblin 1. It looks like goblins like to use lamps like this. If anyone have ever seen this type of lamp anywhere in the game other than this location, then please feel free to drop a message in the comment section. I would love to hear about that. Let's go back to this location for a second, and as you can see, we have a continuous slab of texture. Let me make one adjustment for all the games so that we have a better time understanding what is happening here. Make polygons double-sided. Check this out. Now we have textures double-sided, and as you can see, we have an interesting piece of wood covering the whole ceiling. And it's not uniform. It has some parts which, well, it's not covering this part because you would probably never see it, but indeed this part needed to be covered, even though that you cannot peek into this location. Anyways, let's remove it. I'm just gonna enable this remove ceiling piece of code, and it will remove a specific texture that we have for the ceiling. And here we go. The ceiling have been removed. Let me just fly out a bit. And as you can see, this railing that you have here is definitely added later. Similarly, how the filling in the in the outpost have been added later. As you can see, it's just to prevent the player from peeking into the ceiling, because the ceiling is just a tad bit higher above us. So let's remove this railing so that we have one less obstruction to help us imagine how the tavern looked like. Very good. If I fly out here, then you can see that we now have the original edge of this second floor. And if I pop back into VS Code to show the tavern image, then you can see that indeed we had the horizontal logs, at least half split logs, and also this tiny bit of floorboarding that we had, and we have the same site here. Also, another thing that we have for comparison or aiding us in restoration work is that if you check the first floor instead of jumping directly into the second, well, you have the railing coming up, and below that we have the logs going horizontally, and then we have the sides of the floorboarding that we have here. We could use this texture for the floor, and I have that with adding upstairs floor. Let's see how that looks. Alright, now if I go up, then you can see that we have the floor restored. Anyways, this part is another interesting mystery to me. You guys see this flickering polygon that I have here. And also, I have this polygon that is still flat and indicates that this wall would be able to go upwards a bit more, so that you could see upwards a bit more. But this probably have been added a bit later, and I just got a heart attack from the player dying. Anyways, I have added a chimney that goes from this location upwards, and if I go up, then you can see that we have some more rocks. One more thing that I have spotted here and always puzzled me is if I go down here to the cooking area, then you can see this little thing in the wall. This hole is prepared and you never have anything placed here. It looks like it's an elevator where maybe food could be brought up to the folk who want to eat here, but it's too complicated for this era. Also, this thing is very similar to the puzzle that you have inside the castle, where you need to find Valinor Beplanek's notebook behind that wall where you have this 3 switches. The little metallic door fits this little hole in the wall perfectly. Anyways, I have found no info on the purpose of this one. Alright, let's add the big boy. We need to have a roof above the whole tavern to enclose that space above us, and I have to say that first when I looked at the roofing, it was, I have to say, intimidating. That is the proper word. Just take a look at it, how much more space you got with this, how enormous this location got, how much more space we have. It's like what we gained with this additional roofing, or at least my approximate so far with the roofing, is basically double the size that we had with both floors combined. If you look at the location, then it looks spacious, very, very spacious. I have to say it's a bit disappointing to stand up here and just look down here, because there's nothing to see here. It's very bare and very empty. Let me just fly over here for a second, like imitating that scenario where you look down from the second floor to the entrance and nothing. It's empty, there's nothing here. I've tried replicating the fact that you can go beyond this wall to the right side. I don't know how far it goes to the right. I tried some random distance and this is how far I got. And I was too lazy to add the remaining walls that are supposed to be around here, simply because I have no information on how that looks. And maybe, if I'm speculating correctly, you could go through here, fly through here, or rather walk, and just end up in this location, and then you would be able to look down here. Okay, so let's do something about this stair thing. You have everything walled up here, and this is supposed to be some place where you could temporarily sit or something along that line. And you have a wall and also this boarding all around. Let me fix that and let me remove that blocking part. Alright, and if I look to the right, then you can see that I have some parts removed. The wall is no longer here. I removed all the textures that were not this piece of floorboarding that was here. And also I tried removing as much stuff that was not meant to be here as possible. I also tried to keep this bar where my mouse cursor is, because that is similar to the lower floor that we had here. If you look at the lower floor, then you see that there's a bit of railing that goes around the perimeter of the hole that describes the entrance of this floor that goes upwards. What I did for now is that I tried restoring the stairs. You'll be disappointed, it's just going to be a ramp and some filling here and there, but don't get your hopes up. Here it is, and I think I will use my night vision again, so that you can see I tried restoring the floorboarding. The texture is not aligned perfectly, but you could access the second floor this way. I probably need to add this texture that we have here on the edge, illustrating the thickness of the floorboarding, because now the floorboards don't have a side here. So you just go up here and, oh hello, there are some floorboarding here. But to illustrate that everything is accessible, I'm here in the normal level, I'm climbing up to the second level, and it's a bit dark and the draw distance is horrendously small. It was perfect for the original Tavern design, but for now this is how it looks. You can go up here in the second floor, and I guess this is where I'm at now. So this can be downloaded and you can try it out yourself too. It is completely compatible with vanilla Arx. I don't think you even need to install Arx Libertatis for this. It will probably work with vanilla game too. But keep in mind that I have removed portals, because otherwise the level would just cut off immediately where the ceiling is. Let me illustrate that for a second. I have this feature enabled here, and let me disable this map remove portals. And if I pop back into the game, then you will see that the upper part is not visible at all. The portals are hiding it. So even if I go out here into this open location, then this part is not visible at all. The version that I have uploaded to GitHub have the portals removed. I will place the link to this GitHub page in the description, so take a look at it. And if you go to the releases section on the main page, then you will always be able to get the latest version in the top of this page. And what you need to do is get this Arx map restored, Outpost and Tavern, whatever version zip, just download it and place all the files within. There will be like 3 files. And you can just place it into your Arx Fatalis or Arx Libertatis game next to the exe file, like you would place any other mod. And then anytime you would go to the Tavern level, then you would have that updated Tavern in your level too. Alright guys, thank you very much for sticking with me all the way to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this content, then I'm very happy. And I will probably make a couple of more of these videos. I have some good ideas for the throne room in the castle, so keep an eye out for that video sometimes in the future. But for now, I'm out, and if not sooner, then see you all in Hacktoberfest. Bye bye! And you can see the bottom part of the toilet. Not much poo can be gathered here, if I would say so. It's a very shallow toilet.